Today, I want to show you how to start using a tool for creating your own AI assistants and agents with a simple platform I've prepared for you. This tool allows you to create AI assistants and agents that integrate multiple technologies into a single functional system. It also supports voice communication for an even better user experience. With this tool, you can build AI assistants that not only communicate but also perform tasks you define. Simple examples include adding events to your Google Calendar or drafting email templates. But that's just the beginning. Your assistant can also connect to your dynamic data from databases, ensuring that all interactions include real-time information. Additionally, the AI assistant can transcribe meeting recordings, and if specific tasks were discussed, it can summarize them and assign them to the right people. The possibilities are endless. This is just a basic demonstration of what an AI assistant can do. The application integrates with technologies and services such as OpenAI, Make.com, databases, and more. Make.com enables the creation of countless automation workflows for executing specific tasks. OpenAI ensures natural language processing and request evaluation. Your AI assistant seamlessly connects all these technologies to create a smooth and natural experience. The goal of this platform is to provide individuals with the opportunity to experiment with AI assistants and agents. A strong focus is placed on simplicity, making the entire process of creating and managing assistants as easy as possible. I aim to make your experience smooth and effortless, eliminating the need to deal with complex technical details. However, if some technical inputs are required, I will provide maximum support and leverage AI technologies to assist you. My primary goal is to make AI assistants and agents accessible to individuals in a way that is both easy and truly valuable, helping to save time at work and in personal tasks. Now let's explore the core features of this web application for AI assistant and agent creation and management. Before we begin, I'd like to mention that this is a beta version designed primarily for testing and experimenting with these technologies. My goal is to make this experimentation as simple as possible while providing you with valuable hands-on experience for the future. New features will be added based on your feedback and needs. So let's get started. First, you need to register on the Your Pure AI project website. You'll find the link below the video. Now let's take a look at the basic application settings. First, your profile, where you can change your password or name. You can also see when your membership expires. Currently, access to the application is completely free for the year 2025. Next, we have the OpenAI connection settings. Here, you can enter your OpenAI API key and the ID of a pre-configured OpenAI assistant. Here's a quick demonstration of how to create your first AI assistant on OpenAI. Select Assistants, then click on the Create button. Enter the assistant's name, for example, My First AI Assistant, but it can be anything because we will identify our assistant through its ID. System instructions for testing your agent can be found in the video description below. These are the instructions that the AI assistant will follow, and based on them, it will return the desired answers. We'll use the cheaper mini model. Let's set the response output format to JSON and leave the rest of the settings as they are. Now we can test the assistant. Our assistant is now able to respond to queries in the correct format. Everything works as expected, so we'll copy our assistant's ID and return to our platform, Your Pure AI. Now enter your OpenAI API key and the assistant ID we just created in OpenAI, then save the settings. Next, let's move on to the webhook settings for the Make.com platform. Before we can enter the URL for our default webhook, we first need to create it in Make.com. Let's take a quick look at how to do that. Let's create a new folder, for example, Your Pure AI, and inside it, we'll create a new scenario. We select Webhooks, then Custom Webhook, and choose Create a Webhook. We enter a name for our webhook and save it. Then, we copy the webhook URL, which we will later need to insert into the global settings in your Pure AI. Before that, however, we need to complete our scenario so that it can perform our first intended action, adding a new event to the calendar. Now let's add another node to our scenario. This time, we select Router, which will allow us to branch our scenario and add more actions later. Before proceeding, we need to set up our API key to ensure that only we can use the webhook. To do this, we add a filter between the first and second node of our scenario, as shown in the video. Your Access API key is just a randomly chosen string of characters. You can create any access key you like, which we will later need to enter into the Your Pure AI platform. Next, we add a new node that will be able to save a new entry to our Google Calendar. We select Google Calendar, then create an event, and click Create a Connection. We enter a name for our connection and choose Sign In with Google. Then we fill in all the necessary fields as shown in the video and save the settings. For more detailed instructions on creating scenarios in Make.com, you can find many guides online. I will also try to create a video to explain everything more clearly. For now, just enter the values you see in the video. Now, we'll set up a filter between the router and Google Calendar to ensure that this action is only executed when the user requests to add an event to the calendar. I'll enter a name for the filter, define the condition that must be met, and save it. We also need to enable our new scenario so that it can receive data from our platform. We set it to immediately as data arrives, and then save the entire scenario. Finally, we must switch the scenario toggle to on to activate it. Now, we return to your Pure AI and insert the URL from our newly created webhook, and save it. Next, we can create the variables that will be used in our AI assistants. We will create a variable called userMakeAPIKey and store in it the string we defined in Make.com when creating the webhook scenario. Then, we save it. This ensures that only we can use our webhook with a valid API key. Now let's move on to the voice settings. Here we can choose the language and voice our AI assistant will use. Keep in mind that if a language or voice is not supported by your browser, it will not work. You can also adjust the playback speed. Let's test our settings and save them.
This is a test of the text-to-speech system. Your settings have been applied.
Next, we set the language that will be used for speech-to-text conversion. Again, only languages supported by the browser will work. We select the language and remember to save it. Now our global settings are complete, and we can proceed to creating our first AI assistant. On this screen, you will see all the AI assistants and agents you have created. To make your work easier, documentation is available. Everything is organized into different sections for better navigation. In the future, Help Assistant should also be available to answer your questions or even create an AI assistant for you based on specified criteria. Additionally, I will be working on a feature that will facilitate the creation of scenarios in Make.com and assistants in OpenAI. Now let's return to the place where we will create our first AI assistant. Click on Create Window in the center of the screen or New Window at the top to create our AI assistant. First, we need to configure the assistant properly. Enter the assistant's name and click the Update button. The OpenAI API key and Assistant ID are already pre-filled based on our previous settings in Global Settings. The Thread ID field should be left empty because the assistant will generate and assign it automatically. However, if you need to use a specific existing Thread ID, you can enter it manually. Keep in mind that every time you delete your conversation history with the AI assistant, the Thread ID will change. Next, we have the JSON format settings, which can remain unchanged. This setting defines the format in which our assistant will receive data when communicating with OpenAI. We have defined the same data structure in the system instructions for the assistant in OpenAI. The text-to-speech setting allows the assistant to respond using the pre-selected voice that we configured in Global Settings. Enabling persistent memory allows the AI assistant to retain necessary information even if you erase your conversation history. Now let's save all the changes made to the settings. You can store information in persistent memory directly here or simply ask the AI assistant to remember specific details during your conversation. Now let's move on to creating actions that our AI assistant will be able to perform. In the parameter name field, we must enter the name of the parameter from the received JSON data from OpenAI. In our case, this is action. Then, in the parameter value field, we define the value that will trigger a specific action. First, we set the value to no action, which OpenAI returns when no specific action is needed, and the assistant only needs to respond to the user's question. These instructions are also part of the system prompt that we defined for our assistant in OpenAI. In action type, select Only Display the Message. Finally, don't forget to save everything again. Now let's test if everything is working correctly and if our first AI assistant can communicate with us. You can interact with the assistant by typing text or using voice communication. If text-to-speech is enabled in the settings, the assistant's response will also be read aloud.
Hello, Martin. I'm just a computer program, but I'm here to help you. How can I assist you today?
There are two modes available for voice communication. The first mode continuously converts your voice into text until you stop it manually. The second mode works by automatically sending your message when you stop speaking for at least 3 seconds. After receiving a response from the assistant, you can continue speaking immediately, ensuring a smooth conversation without repeatedly enabling and disabling voice recording. Now, let's create another action. This action will enable the ability to store information in persistent memory. So, we add a new action. Again, we enter action into the parameter name field. In the parameter value field, we now enter update memory. In action type, we select process in application. Then we choose update persistent memory. In the memory parameter name field, we need to specify which data from the JSON string should be stored in memory. In our case, it is the parameter data. Once again, don't forget to save everything. Now we can test our new action. We ask our AI assistant to remember some information.
Memory updated.
The information is automatically added to our persistent memory, where we can review it. Now let's create our third action, which will be integrated with Make.com and will allow us to add an event to the calendar. Again, we enter the necessary parameters. In the parameter value field, we enter Create Calendar Entry, and in action type, we select Send to Make.com webhook. Next, we enter our webhook URL, which we previously saved when setting up the scenario in make.com. We also need to define the JSON format that will be sent to our make.com webhook. Here, we will utilize the variable we previously defined in the global settings. Our custom-defined variables are placed inside double curly brackets, as shown in the video. This ensures that before sending our request to the webhook, the variable is replaced with the actual value we have set. In this case, it will be the actual API key for our webhook. Regarding the action parameter, we must enter the value we defined in our make.com scenario filter for adding an event to the calendar. As for the data parameter, we simply pass the data received from OpenAI. Once again, we save everything and proceed with testing. We will ask our AI assistant to create a calendar entry for us. The request is sent to OpenAI Assistant, which returns a response. Based on the setup we just created, this response is then forwarded to our make.com webhook. The request is processed according to our scenario,
Action requested.
and we will see the event added to our calendar exactly as we requested from our AI assistant. This was just a basic demonstration of how you can create your own AI assistants in the web application Your Pure AI. You can set up an unlimited number of actions for your AI assistant to perform. I will continue to add more tutorials and videos to provide inspiration and explanations on how to use additional features and integrations with your AI assistant. It is also possible to connect database data and retrieve it solely through communication with the AI assistant, including modifying database records via forms or adding new data to the database through a form prepared by the AI assistant. This feature is already built into the tool. Additionally, you can integrate various API applications. Furthermore, OpenAI responses can be forwarded to another assistant created within OpenAI, allowing you to seamlessly connect multiple custom AI assistants into a unified system. The possibilities are truly endless. I would love for you to give it a try and explore the current capabilities of your Pure AI. Your feedback and comments are highly appreciated and valuable to me. I will continue working on improving the application and expanding it with new features. One of my future goals is to add the ability to automate computer actions via the AI assistant and predefined automation scenarios to minimize unwanted operations. The future development will largely depend on whether I can build a community of users who are interested in this application. I understand that it's impossible to compete with companies like Google, OpenAI, Anthropic, and others, or with tools like Manus, Perplexity, and similar services. These companies can implement similar features for all users almost instantly. However, I would be delighted if you experimented and created your own AI assistants using your Pure AI. Please feel free to share your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. If you'd like to support me, I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the Your Pure AI channel. That way we can stay in touch, and you'll be notified about new videos and tutorials. Wishing you success in your AI journey.